U.S. has now entered its fourth week in the war with Iran, and the White House still doesn't appear to have an exit strategy. It feels like being stuck in an escape room with your dumbest friends. Clue! Clue! We need a clue! Open the drawer again. Clue! No, the other drawer. And today, Trump said the Strait of Hormuz could open very soon, and it might be jointly controlled by himself and the new Ayatollah. You know Trump's in control when he turns the whole strait into a giant lazy river. Meanwhile, Trump said the U.S. is talking with a top person in Iran, but not the supreme leader. Whereas that's also known not the top person. Yet we're now in week 4 of the war.
Oh, okay. Bye-bye, Jimmy Fallon.
I messed that one up, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's me.
Listen, we'll figure out whether the phone system works. We all know my hole is not working on my iPad. There's been a lot of discussion of my port and why it doesn't like various chords.
And we thank you for all your suggestions on the printer.
Oh, the printer. Yeah, that's on today's show, we will have Flannermarn and some Lockenbarn in hour 3.
But... yeah, all of the suggestions that people gave us were for like printers that cost $1,000. Yo, replace.
Yeah, we can't afford that. There's a new one ordered. Yeah, okay, we don't have a cleaning thing or a replaceable drum or, but thank you anyway.
Although we do have a cleaning cycle on there. I tried it, made it worse. So
I think this is who's here, but I can't tell. Is that Jody? My iPad sometimes works on this this travel charger that you so nicely got me.
That looks like a transistor radio.
My whole likes
it's an old battery.
Yeah, my whole likes you. It does not like Chris. That whatever that new cord you got, that doesn't work. Okay, yours is limp. Jody's is.
It works fine on my whole.
Yeah, well, okay. You know what? Because she has enough names, I can see that Jill Weinbanks is going to be here in hour 3.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I'm wearing my Goldwater Miller t-shirt, because it was Goldwater that told Nixon it's time to go. You're a crook. Remember back when we had a, functioning Republican Party that actually cared about right and wrong and the rule of law. Okay. Hi. Good morning.
I also think Mike Nellis is going to have some things to say today.
A couple of things.
I've read his piece yesterday. It's fantastic. And of course, Charlie Pierce and Jody Hamilton's here in the petting zoo with
and she's going to be here all next week.
Yes, Mommy will be on vacation with cucumbers on her eyes all next week.
Really?
Doing a little staycation. Okay. Yeah.
You deserve it.
Thank you, Bella. And Bella will be vacationing.
She will be recovering.
Without a gallbladder.
I will be on the bed, struggling and rolling around to get up. And
Yes. Bella's surgery is Friday.
Yes.
She will bye-bye gallbladder.
Yes.
Okay.
About time.
God.
Someone wanted to know if they could send you a stuffed gallbladder with little angry stuffed gallstones, and we were like, no. Thank you.
That's a nice gesture.
The thought was so cute.
Very sweet.
I have so many things already.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. All right, so we're playing hurt. I'm going to get my hole fixed later, though. Not Dr. Nicole, the Apple
You're
store.
Get it tightened up?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm going to get that tightened up.
That's a
little hot dog in a hallway. Whatever's going on there.
It is. It really is a hot dog in a hallway.
Are you getting a port rejuvenation?
Yes, if I can.
Yeah.
Can they do that, or are they going to make me replace?
They may be able to. It might be a little too involved for them to do there, so they would either send it out or offer you a discount on a new one.
I feel like they're a little overconfident naming themselves geniuses.
The
don't
genius
you think?
bar,
yeah.
Like,
are they like, what do you call it? Did Melania, they have like an Einstein visa? Really? You're a genius?
I prefer the Geek Squad personally over the Genius
Thank
Bar.
you.
The Genius Bar has worked wonders for me. Like I brought stuff in, and
so they are certified geniuses.
They kind of are.
Okay, fine. All right,
and they speak English too, which is a great thing.
Oh,
they don't like speak.
That was
tech.
a little MAGA-y.
They don't speak.
Oh, that's not what you meant. I thought you were being racist. Okay.
Oh my
God!
They don't speak in HTML.
I thought you were being racist.
They don't speak in HTML. Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Hey, Jody, here's something I have to talk to Jill Weinbanks about. With all the law-breaking, war crimes, blah blah blah. Is this not the most obvious insider trading ever?
No kidding.
What the actual right?
No kidding.
They're all this like the highest volume of trades ever right before Trump's announcement. Like someone is making a boatload of money off of this lunatic.
Right.
And we're at a point where, of course, the whole world, including us, believes the Iranians over Trump because he's such a liar. Mm-hmm. Right? Like he's we're talking. They're like, no, we're not. And then he's like, oh, they agreed to this. I'm like, no. Okay, I don't even know where do I start here. Let's see. Yes, Brian Krasenstein says Trump claims Iran called him last night and they're agreeing to, quote, not have nuclear weapons anymore. Note, Iran never had nuclear weapons and has always agreed to not produce nuclear weapons. Trump has no clue what he's even talking about. Iran claims they didn't even talk. I mean, okay. First of all, do you believe anything he says, like right before the stock market opens? It's like, oh, okay, here we go. I mean, that's the only thing that he cares about.
You could have stopped at, do you believe anything he says?
Yes.
Right. There you
All
go.
I
Yeah.
will stop there.
Okay.
All right. Meanwhile, ICE is at the airport doing absolutely nothing
Buckus.
except, of course, now they're saying it out loud. Look, Comer, the Democrats crazy. It's just all in the libs.
Yeah.
Yes, here it is.
I'm glad the president's put ICE in there for a multitude of reasons. That'll drive the Democrats crazy. But at the end of the day, somebody's got to step up and ensure that our air travel continues, or you're going to see even further damage to our economy, which, again, in my opinion, is what the Democrats want.
Oh, my God.
what
Oh,
Donald
my
wants.
God.
Though they're doing nothing
Right.
inside there.
Yeah, you
they're
can
just
see
wandering around with their guns.
Oh my God! You know,
That's
the
it.
picture that pissed me off the most is like, there's the black lady not getting paid,
Yeah.
checking people in, and this big white goon standing there, supervising her, getting paid to just terrorize and intimidate
Exactly.
people.
They're doing nothing.
Yeah.
Literally, they're not speeding up the lines.
Right.
No,
They're
they're not
getting
doing
in the
anything.
way.
Yeah, people are saying that they're interviewing at the airport. And the other thing, thank God, because a lot of times the mainstream media, they just go, "Who do you blame for this?" And then, without giving context, saying Republicans
Right.
have voted against 10 times, paying TSA agents. Trump has told them not to do this deal
Right.
to pay TSA, but they just so people say whatever they say if they're not paying attention. But more and more people are starting to say, "Trump, I blame Trump."
Yeah.
So they're starting to, even people that don't pay attention, I think, are starting to get it. It's just so insane. It's again, I probably wouldn't agree with anything. Well, some stuff. If Goldwater were here today, but at least they were a functioning party that actually tried to do things to help people.
Yeah.
We might have disagreed with them on policies or on certain issues, but they actually were a functioning party that knew the difference between right and wrong and the rule of law, and they were actually working on policies. Literally what Comer said is the quiet part out loud. It's just all in the libs. We're just doing this to piss people off.
Yeah.
So what are they doing for you and your gas prices and your airline tickets and your, right? I had to cancel my ticket. This is for not till June, but they're cutting back on flights so much. The flight, they're like, "Oh, your flight's 12 hours later. Is that okay?" I'm like, "No, it's not okay." I mean, it's already causing chaos. And as they're saying, there's going to be ripple effects. Even if this disaster ends tomorrow, gas prices, all of it is going to continue. He's just made a mess. Oh, by the way, Alex says, reporter points out that Trump's, quote, 5-day pause in the war is the exact amount of time it takes for thousands of U.S. Marines to arrive in the region. He also used the announcement to manipulate the stock market. Absolute chaos and deception. I mean, Chris did the whole timeline yesterday of when he said, winding down, no boots on the ground, I'm sending Marines in. It's dizzying, the whole thing. So who knows and he's obviously lying about talking to Iran. Again, pure market manipulation. Somebody posted the actual, oh please, I don't know the exact market volume and how unusual it was, like right before. But the key is before his announcement. Right?
Within 15 minutes of his announcement, all of these stocks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How much do you want to get anyone? Is it maybe people named Trump made a lot of money? I don't know. Maybe knew something. And I mean, it's insane. This is Mamba said, I don't remember a time in my life when literally the whole world mocked the U.S. president as a lunatic idiot, and he still has 3 years to go. And Buddy said this will be talked about in the media the next time a Democrat is POTUS. I mean,
Of course.
Yep.
it's just the stuff that goes. Have you heard people talking about market manipulation? It just seems like he gets away with all of these crimes because he can, right? Or all these lies. I mean, what did he say? A reporter did ask him. Iran says you're not talking. He's like, well, they need a better PR person. What? I don't. Okay. Right. John says, this traveler underscores a major problem for Trump. He has rightfully become synonymous with dysfunction and chaos that most voters are going to blame him for the TSA mess no matter what he says. Man, I hope so. I hope we break this cycle finally of Republicans. This is what Republicans do every time. unnecessary wars and tax cuts for the rich and driving up the deficit, and then the Democrat comes in and cleans it up, doesn't do it fast enough, and gets shivved by the media.
Yeah.
By the way, thank you. We're going to talk to Jill. So it looks like Supreme Court. I hate everyone this morning, starting with my hole in my iPad, my port.
Yeah. Any port in a storm?
Yeah. Well, apparently not any port in a quorum.
In a
Storm
quorum?
doesn't like this.
quorum.
Doesn't like this cord there. That was working yesterday.
Stupid cord.
Stupid cord. I hate you.
It's your port.
Yeah,
It's not the cord.
you're
it's the
dumb.
port.
It's the
What?
port.
It's the port.
Okay, fine. I'm not going to blame my own hole. It's ever going to be everyone else's fault.
Everybody else is going to blame your hole, though.
Yeah.
Now the Supreme Court. We're going to talk to Jill Wine-Banks about. They seem like they're leaning toward, supporting like the no mail-in voting, which is insane. Because of course Trump just voted by mail.
Of course he
literally just voted by mail in a special election in
He
Florida.
says it's okay if you're traveling.
It's so insane.
Right.
30 states have it. And what happened to Goldwater Miller, GOP, like states' rights, all that? Forget it. They don't. States are supposed to run their own elections.
And Alito yesterday.
Oh, he's an idiot. I hate him.
His thing with, Christmas is on Christmas Day. Why
yeah,
can't
he went
election
day,
day be on
day,
election
day.
day?
He is disgraceful. Of all of the
There are
disgraceful
12 days of Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas Day is.
Yeah, they were. One analyst was saying Alito most closely monitored like Trump administration talking points.
Yeah.
He's a hack. He's just a political hack. He's not a justice. He's just. Anyway, we'll talk to Jill Wine-Banks about that because that's insane that they are clearly, because it also could involve early voting. They're just trying to keep as many people from voting as they can.
My birthday is on one day.
Shut up, Alito.
There are 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas will be when you. Okay, that's when Christmas will come early. I meant choke on something, and then recover quickly. Okay.
That's exactly how Alito sounded too. My birthday.
This is where you get the well. We're having Joe Wine-Banks, but that's the most cogent legal analysis you'll get until then.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm just Alito. Christmas is only one day. I can tell I'm going to be extra D all day.
Yeah, you are.
I can just feel it. That Genius Bar guy, you better be on this because I don't have time. Ain't nobody got time for this. Yes, Seymour says non-citizens already can't vote. It's
Right.
illegal,
Right.
and they don't. And even the Heritage Foundation says they don't. Donald Trump is the biggest liar on planet Earth.
Right.
That's the right-wing Heritage Foundation and their study. It's just this whole thing is so infuriating. All right, did I cover what's infuriating enough yet?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, right. That stack over there.
I'm sure we'll make more.
Okay. Yes, I was explaining to my sister when she was here about the stacks and why we need a good printer because they just keep coming all weekend. Yeah.
It comes.
Yeah.
And it comes.
It's okay. It's very relaxing. Oh, well, hey there, Political Voices viewers. It's me, Stephanie Miller. Thanks so much for being here and supporting the channel. When you like, comment, or subscribe, it really helps us and our sponsors, and it's the sponsors who make this show possible. So we really appreciate you supporting the people who support us. Stay right here for a quick message from one of those sponsors.
Hi everybody, this is Bob Circosta, and it's time for another Bob's Best Buys. And today, we're talking about pain, something we can all relate to, right? Whether it be stiff joints, sore knees, or those everyday aches and pains. Well, now there's a way to help control the pain, and it's called Artrex, a cream that works. From the team at BioVed, Artrex is activated by Ayurveda, an ingredient that's been around for 5,000 years. It focuses on natural wellness, promoting circulation, and helping to fight inflammation. It's plant-based and absorbs fast. And just for listening right now, BioVed has put together a special package you won't find anywhere else. Go to biovedproducts.com/Bob. That's biovedproducts.com/Bob. Isn't it time to feel better, move better, and live better? Now you can with Artrex.
No one trusts that ICE is going to make things better. Patrolling airports is not in ICE's job description. It's certainly not what they're trained to do. It's a simple solution, Donald Trump. Pay the TSA workers so you don't have to bring ICE agents in there.
So I met her in a club down in Old Soho when you drink champagne and it tastes like Coca-Cola. C-O-L-A, cola. Cola. She walked up to me. She asked me to dance. I asked her name, and in a dark brown voice, oh, that could be a little bit racist. I don't know. She said Lola. L-O-L-A. Lola. La 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 Lola.
Got that part. Yeah.
Well, I'm not the world's most physical guy, but when she squeezed me tight, she nearly broke my spine. Oh, see, now the trans people in sports people are going to see. Oh, my Lola, la, 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 et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not dumb, but I can't understand why she walked like a woman but talked like a man. I'm falling into Team Moby now. I really am. I love you, my neighbor. You're my neighbor. Lend me some sugar.
It's a man who meets a trans person, is
right,
a
hang
bit
on.
confused by it.
All right, got it. Hang on.
But-
Well, we drank champagne and we danced all night. Yeah, how gross how could he have been? Under electric candlelight, she picked me up and sat me on her knee and said, "Dear boy, won't you come home with me?" Well, I'm not the world's most passionate guy, but when I looked in her eyes, well, I almost fell for my Lola. La, 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 la.
Lola.
Thank you.
Lola.
No, there's another
La
Lola.
la la Lola.
Uh-huh. That's hot when Jody does that, isn't it? Lonnie, get a close-up of her tongue. Come on, do it. Close up on Jody.
No.
La, 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 la.
La la la.
Yeah, he knows about that tongue. Okay.
Oh my God, Miss Miller.
Stephanie!
Louise.
They're married. What? Like that was dirty.
When he's
God.
in the room, it's
Right!
like...
They're both in the room.
So it would be better. Lonnie, can you go out to the bathroom for a minute? I want to talk about Jody's.
Can you excuse yourself for a second?
Jody and.
Yeah.
I need to see HR.
Well,
Good luck
Okay.
with that.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Screw off. Okay. I pushed her away. I walked to the door. Oh, see, I'm saying.
Hey.
Okay. I fell to the floor. I got down on my knees. Then I looked at her, and she looked at me. And that's the way I want it to stay. And I'll always want it to be that way for my Lola.
la 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 Lola.
You are deliberately hiding your tongue.
La 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 Lola.
Girls will be boys, and boys will be girls. It's a mixed up, muddled up, shook up world, except for Lola.
La 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 Lola. La 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 Lola.
Hot. When I left home just a week before, I never even ever kissed a woman before, but Lola smiled and took me by the hand and said, "Dear boy, I'm going to make you a man." But I'm not the most masculine man, but I know what I am, and I'm glad I'm a man, and so is Lola.
La 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 Lola.
Okay, and then that's like 18 times.
Yeah, then it keeps going on.
Some,
All right.
Some of the lyrics, I don't think it's purposely transphobic,
It is
but
not.
it's
I get it.
outdated.
I get
It is
Well,
outdated. It's outdated. It
But
was
it's a
written
50-year-old
in the 70s.
Exactly.
Yes.
Look at how many, I watch old series that I never
Oh
watched before when I'm
my
streaming,
God,
and how many
uh-huh.
times people use the word tranny.
There's
or
that,
stuff.
that one episode
Yeah.
of Sex in the City
Yes!
where Samantha's having a feud with her neighbors, and then at the very end they all have a barbecue,
Right.
and there's that one scene with Carrie, and she has like a voice, and she's code switching, and like, I can't believe this was progressive for the time.
I know.
Yeah.
This is
No, well, there's a
crazy.
lot of shows like that
Yeah.
that are progressive shows and people and Ugly Betty and all that stuff, and you're like, ooh, like it does seem shocking now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Context.
Yeah.
back when it was written, this was
yeah.
a very, very progressive. It was a hit song on the radio.
Have
that
you
was,
noticed?
Big deal, yeah.
Have
That
you
was a
noticed
massive deal.
that we just sink our teeth into any other topic
Yeah,
other
I
than
know.
Trump?
It's
know.
nice to
Politics.
think about something else, though, for
It really
a change.
is. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We debated that more passionately than
Well,
anything,
Yeah, and it's a topic that's in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I can
Yeah.
debate anything.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, you can, little
As
fellow
long
with a
as I
Z.
care about it. I
Imagine
can talk
when that-
about anything.
That janky gallbladder gets out, you'll be woo.
I can't wait to be back at 110%. Seriously.
Bring it in for show and tell.
There you go.
Oh yeah! God, my
Eighth grade science fair.
I was
Eighth
with
grade.
my dad this weekend, and he had a whole moment where he was like, I was thinking about you when you were a baby, and they're taking something from you. They're taking an organ out from you. And I was like, oh my God, I don't like
That's a little genetic superiority, Master Racy. Okay. We don't care if it's bad. You keep it. It's part of our genes. Okay.
not what he
I don't
meant.
think that's what he meant.
That's not what he meant.
I'm just saying it's part of his flesh and blood. He wants to keep it all. All right. Let's get rid of that thing. Did you send where's my listener get my daughter the operation? Do you have that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. This is what works, Jody, as you know.
I know.
Yes. We dialed up her doctor. We just put it on the phone. I just said, hello, this is Aurora Greenway. calling regarding.
It is after 10. Give my...
Bella with a Z, her surgery.
Please. Mrs. Greenway, I was going to. Oh, good. Go ahead. In just a few minutes. Well, please, it's after 10. It's after 10. I don't see why she has to have this pain. Ma'am, it's not my patient. It's time for...
Surgery.
You understand? Do something. All she has to do is hold out until 10. And it's past 10. She's in pain.
My Bella, her surgery. Surgery.
You understand? You're going to behave.
Bella, surgery.
It's weird. They didn't even seem to notice it was AI. They seemed to didn't even notice the editing. Just worked fine. Worked like a charm.
Yeah.
Surgery's
Sounds
Friday.
exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You did, yeah.
Our friend, our buddy, our pal, Dean Obadala said, remember how Trump slammed President Obama for unfreezing $1.7 billion to Iran as part of the Iran nuclear deal? Well, Trump just waived sanctions on Iranian oil. How much will that make Iran? $14 billion. Trump is literally funding Iran's war against us.
Yes.
Right.
As they're funding Russia to kill us.
Yep.
Yes, he was reacting to the headline. Trump faces blowback for easing Iran oil sanctions. It is so insane. He is Jody, how did people know? Who are these people that didn't notice he is the worst negotiator in the world? He's basically trying to get Obama's deal back now.
Yeah. He just wants to put his name on it.
Oh, my God. Who are these people? Okay. She's on it, and she's not even at 100%.
Right.
All right. Yes, as we mentioned in our segment, President Donald Trump cast an mail ballot in an upcoming Florida special election, according to Palm Beach County records, while publicly condemning the voting method as fraudulent. He calls the method cheating. So, okay. Anyway, okay.
So he's a cheater.
Yes. Kevin rounds things up for us. The U.S. is at war with Iran. Hawaii is experiencing historic floods. Nebraska's on fire. 2 pilots died in a deadly collision because air traffic control towers are understaffed. Gas prices are skyrocketing, and TSA agents are working for free while armed ICE agents stand guard. And President Trump is taking a tour of Elvis Presley's house.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
Oh, no. He was at Graceland. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well.
And he said things like, I think I could fight Elvis.
What the hell? What? Like, why?
He couldn't even beat Fat Elvis
No.
on the toilet. He is Fat
On the
Orange
toilet,
Elvis.
exactly.
On the toilet in his last moments. Trump couldn't. Okay. Pat, he would have gotten distracted by the peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Oh, food. Okay, Matt in North.
Peanut butter and banana sandwiches are only good if you have honey on it.
Yes,
Yes.
correct.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
How many calories is in that, Jody? Did we
who
just gain
cares?
weight? Did we
Who
gain
cares?
weight listening
You're
to that?
not eating it as a low-cal food.
No.
A lot of calories.
That's
Matt-
dinner.
Matt in North Carolina. How adorable is she?
Yeah, hey Stephanie, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay?
Yes,
I
yes,
can.
yes,
Well,
yes.
for the moment, I can. Yes.
So, first of all, that song was fabulous, and there was
It is.
nothing degrading about Lola saying so. Anyway, I want
Listen,
everybody
if there's a
to
good
go
beat,
to the,
if there's a good beat, I don't care how objectionable the lyrics are. Blurred lines, I love it. I love it. I know it's rapey. It's terrible.
I love that song.
It's a great song.
Maybe it's cold outside. Also
I
rapey.
lady in the street, freak in the bed. Love it. Love it. So, yeah. Yeah. How about the one? Okay, go ahead, Matt.
hey
Sorry.
guys,
Yes.
I look here. I'll let my 13-year-old daughter say hi.
Oh,
Say hi, Maddie.
Hi.
hi.
Hey guys, listen up.
She sounds like she
Yes,
couldn't
yes,
care
hey, look.
less.
She was just excited that I was on the phone. So look, I worked for the Board of Election for like 10 cycles, right? We literally made a mistake and handed out 8 ballots incorrectly to people who lived outside of the city. So it was adjudicated through the county and the state. It took about 6 months. Voting is protected, right?
Yes.
So the real thing that needs to be done by everybody is you need to go to your Board of Election and you need to ask the person who heads that up, what are you going to do? Are you going to call the state police? Or are you going to call the county sheriff when ICE or the FBI comes in to circumvent state law and confiscate ballots? Everybody when I asked Leanne Price, who is the head of the Board of Elections, who is a friend of mine for 20 years, she's a Republican. When I asked her, she said, Matt, I just kind of heard about this, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Well, what it
do
means
about
is-
what?
What What it means is that are the state law officers, or our county sheriffs, or our state police going to stop federal officers like the FBI and ICE from confiscating ballots, which is illegal?
It's illegal,
and the person who had
you know what? I'll ask Joe Winebanks about that because that's what my concern too. All right, be honest. Does your daughter refer to this as Daddy's old person show? What is?
She refers to it as Gerontology 201.
Yeah. All right, tell her I said piss off. All right.
I love you guys.
I love you.
Bella's only 9 years old, or 10 years older than she is.
I question your parenting that you even let her listen, but okay. Straight parents. Terrible.
Chris just made me feel so old.
Why?
Why?
I just made you sound really young.
Yeah, to me that sounds young.
Old.
No, to me it sounds really young. You're only 10 years older than his 13-year-old daughter.
You were a teenager.
My 15-year-old sister told me the other day, she's like, "You're kind of old."
Oh dear.
Oh my God, stop.
Oh boy.
Don't say that to a room full of 50 and 60-year-olds.
What are your sister's thoughts about your coworkers? You're like, can you ask that old lady if she still has that stone, that blue stone from the Titanic? Okay.
In 1776, we defied a corrupt king, and the America we love was born from that defiance. Now it's time to do it again. The next No Kings rally is March 28th, and freedom-loving Americans everywhere will join what could be the biggest single day of protest in American history. Show your support with the No Kings lapel pin. So much better than that tacky red hat. A subtle but powerful way to say you've had enough of wannabe dictators and you're doing something about it. On March 28th and every day after, keep our movement going by wearing a symbol that clearly says what freedom-loving Americans are thinking. There are no kings in America, and there never will be. Get your No Kings lapel pin now at store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. That's store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com.
All right, the Lola debate continues unabated. Tom in Detroit with a musical fun fact from rock history. Hello, Tom.
Good morning, Steph.
Hello.
Long time, first time.
All right, calling from Motown. You are the rock history historian of the Stephanie Miller Show.
Oh God, that's a lot to put on my shoulders. Yes. By the way, since first time caller, I get to tell you how much I love the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So first of all, just to be picky, was not written in the 70s. It was written in 1968.
Exactly. It's over 50.
So even a little older. Yep. No big deal.
Okay.
It was, and what do they say in the movies? Based on a true story. Mm-hmm. It was based on a true story. It didn't happen to Ray Davis. People like to say Ray Davies. It's actually Ray Davis. Mm-hmm. Or some more rock info for you.
Okay.
But it was another member of the group or one of the producers or whatever. And yes, it's a trans story, but not transgender. It's a transvestite story.
Okay. Right.
And it just... that's all. So, yeah, just a guy dressing like a chick, that's all. But the other brilliant part of the song that sort of probably got it able to be played on the radio in the late 60s, the ambiguity of the last line, I'm glad I'm a man and so is Lola, could mean either Lola is glad that Lola is a man too, or Lola is glad that the protagonist is a man.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. I feel like we've done too deep a dive at this point. I don't have enough brain matter to process all of this and Donald Trump. But thank you. And I only wish it was October so I could say happy Rocktober. Thanks for calling in Rocktober, everybody.
Thanks for letting me contribute. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Love you, Tom, in Motown.
That's a good point, mate.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It makes my brain hurt. Can we just play blurred lines? You know what it is? There's all blurred lines. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Everybody, all right, back to World War III.
All right.
Sorry.
I want to talk about Lola.
Bella's like, you're
You're
like roller coasters. Bella's like, ice cream before surgery.
Oh my God. The sad thing is I have not had ice cream in like 7 months because of
because Donald Trump is president. Yep.
Yeah.
Because we can't have nice things. Yeah. We can't have nice things. No. Can't afford it. Yeah. Okay. Sylvester says Senator Murphy just said it out loud. Trump isn't pausing strikes on Iran. He's postponing a possible war crime until markets close on Friday. Oil dropped 8% in the moment he announced it. The pause isn't for Iran, it's for Wall Street. The war has a trading schedule. I keep saying that. It just seems so obvious to me. By the way, so Sky News, I feel like you have to go overseas to get, real news about this war.
I watch Sky News all the time.
Yeah. Here we go.
Someone spoke sense in Donald Trump's circle and perhaps him directly that if these strikes take place, it is going to be catastrophic for the civilian society, the civil infrastructure in Iran and the civil society inside this country, and also the retaliation that we might potentially see from Iran toward the Gulf states, but also Israel will most certainly be enormous. So I think the cost is now outweighing President Trump's bombast and threat.
Yeah. They're reporting what all of our media should be reporting. This is an unmitigated disaster of our own making. And by the way, John said the same thing. Let's add stock market manipulation to the list of Trump's crimes. And Frank Conniff, who I love, said Trump's actions seem perplexing, but you have to understand that while the rest of us are playing checkers, he's a war criminal who rapes children.
There you go.
See? Why can't you just have a reporter?
It's concise.
like that. That's what I want one anchor to say.
Allegedly.
Yeah, sure.
Well, he's an adjudicated rapist.
Right, but raping children, that's alleged.
That's alleged. True. True.
Although it's alleged quite credibly, I don't know. First of all, he's mentioned thousands of times. There are multiple times, including
hasn't been convicted.
Well, that's another crime in itself.
I don't doubt that.
We all agree.
But I'm just. Why is no one asking the question? How are Epstein and Maxwell able to be convicted on even just this one girl's testimony that the FBI found so credible that they interviewed her 4 times, and it is specifically about Donald Trump raping her.
Yeah, I just want you to be careful because they're sending out cease and desist letters.
Sure, I'm sending out a message too.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I had an itch by my nose. Okay, Ana Navarro said, thanks to the idiot clowns who got us into this mess with no plan and no endgame, the United States backing down from the Iran conflict with a massive loss of standing in the international affairs is the best case scenario. It's exactly what it is. He can lie all he wants to his MAGA idiots, but the rest of the world is like, what a clown.
Did not stop the president from playing golf this weekend, which made me nostalgic for this classic tweet from 2016, which reads, while our wonderful president was out playing golf all day, the TSA is falling apart, just like our government. Airports, a total disaster. Oh, who said that? Oh, Donald Trump said that. Man, oh man, if Donald Trump ever met President Trump, he would hate him. He would, a week more.
Jimmy Kimmel, hero of democracy. Oh, here comes another one. Look at him. Here comes Mike Nellis, Chicago tough.
That's right.
Because now Mike Nellis gets it done.
He loves this. I've become kind of a weird Stalky fan. Like I read everything you write.
Nellis gets it done. Nellis gets it done. Nellis gets it done. Nellis gets it done.
Yeah. Hi, Mike Nellis. Hey.
Yep. We have to shut it all down. We have to shut it all down until we can figure out what's going on with this music. Okay, no more.
Do not touch my Benatar. So I took the hit last week for CNN. You and I passed the baton. I got no sleep last week and had to argue with a right-wing douche nozzle. Handed you the baton. Tell us about your CNN hit. Where were you?
I'm excited to find out that I get to say douche nozzle on your show.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
douche
absolutely.
Nozzle. They're all douche nozzles. Yes.
So I was on Laura Coates last night with Ben Ferguson, who, for folks that don't know, is Ted Cruz's co-host.
That's right.
On his podcast.
Yep.
And the guy would not shut up. We were debating DHS funding, and I don't know if you saw it on Fox News last night. Senator Kennedy came on and said that Donald Trump is the reason that we don't have a deal. Senate Republicans are throwing Trump under the bus for this madness at our airports.
Yeah.
And I brought that up, and he just had an absolute meltdown on stage to the point where Laura had to basically retake over her whole show and chastise him in front of the whole audience. It was super embarrassing for the guy last night, but it goes to show you how far off the reservation these people are.
Yeah. Chris can tell you our Ben Ferguson story. We were
at the
you do the conventions. You know, we normally broadcast from both conventions.
Right. We were on Radio Row at the RNC in St. Paul, and he leans over the curtain and says, "I love you, Stephanie. I'm a big fan. I model myself after you."
Oh. Oh.
And then they go on air and they just act like complete ass bites to you. But this is what they're all really nice to you in the green room. Wherever.
It's amazing, guys. They're insanely nice to you in the green room. They're nice to you over text. But when they get on air, they're rabid dogs because to them, they're just playing a character. Like Ben Ferguson, Ted Cruz, Jesse Waters, they don't believe in anything. You and I actually believe the stuff that we say because we actually care about this.
Yeah. I actually did a spit take in the what Alex Michelson did after he did a little film after we're done, and she's like, "America is going to in the world to be a lot safer when we're done in Iran." I'm like, seriously? I mean, I can't. You're right. Who in their right mind, Mike, thinks this was a good idea? Or it's going well. Nobody. I'm sorry. I don't care what they say on air.
Yeah. No. Well, hang on. Well, I disagree with you, Stephanie. There are a couple people who think it's going well. Defense contractors, oil companies, corrupt politicians. They think this is going well.
People making money from insider
idiot kids.
Yeah, insider trading.
Exactly. If you're insider trading through Polymarket and Kalshi, if you're Donald Trump's idiot kids with defense contracts in front of the Pentagon for drone strike technology, you think this is going amazing because you don't care who wins. You don't care who gets hurt. You don't care how much money you have to pay at the pump. Your stock value is going through the roof. So they're having a time of their lives.
Where is the mainstream media, Mike, on who screamed about Hunter Biden and every talking point about him? The current children of the current president are currently selling drones for this war of choice and nothing, crickets, right?
Well, this is the problem with corporate media, right? Like the same people that own CNN and all these other corporate media outlets, like they've got stake in this stuff too, and they know that they've got contracts in front of the government. They've got licensing deals. I mean, the FCC and Brendan Carr have been threatening ABC, NBC, CBS, and the rest of them that if they don't report the war coverage the way that Donald Trump perceives it, that they're going to take away their broadcasting license for the public good. So they're scared, and that's why we need more independent media. We need 1 million Stephanie Millers.
And Mike Nellis is, okay. But this is why I fell in love with you.
There's only one Mike Nellis.
That's right.
In the end, there could only be one. In a perfect world, there'd be 100.
Highlander.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But no, you're always
I'm too young to get that reference.
Yeah, you are. You are.
You know what?
You weren't even born in the 80s.
I'm going to keep loving you no matter how much you insult me. So
I was born at the tail end of the 80s.
Okay.
But I don't remember the Challenger explosion. I don't remember the situation with OJ. So.
Oh, wow.
My God.
Oh,
well,
wow.
There's the football part, and there's some stuff that happened later. Okay. You're all over it on social media. You said
I'm
nothing.
told the 80s were good for OJ.
In the 80s, well, yeah, the 80s were. The 90s, not so
well,
much.
I'll tell you later. Some stuff happened after that. Okay. You said nothing that Trump does or says about Iran matters if Israel continues military operations. It's just going to undermine any possible negotiations that may or may not be happening. Trump is stuck, and Bibi has him wrapped around his finger. I mean, to the extent that Trump is lying even about that. Like, I didn't know anything about this attack. And Israeli officials like, yes, you did, and you approved it. I mean... So, here we are, right? We're more people are believing Iranian media that he's not talking to anybody in Iran, right? It's like, when he says, they've agreed to this, they're calling me. They're like, no, we're not.
Right. There's no good faith actors here. Like, you can't believe the American government. You certainly can't believe the Iranian government. But what I do know is Donald Trump has no exit plan for this. He had no entry plan for it either. He had no idea what he was getting himself into. They did not prepare the American economy for this. And if they had, they would have refilled the strategic petroleum reserve so that Americans wouldn't be paying so much at the pump. But they didn't do that. So they don't know what to do. And then you keep hearing from all these MAGA influencers. They go, Mike, we have to defeat Iran because they're evil, Mike. They're evil people and they're bad government and they oppress their people. And I go, I agree with you. The government of Iran is bad. But them being bad is not enough for us to put American military personnel on the line to implode the entire world economy. And by the way, what is Donald Trump trying to do right now? After saying we were going to do regime change, he's negotiating with the new Ayatollah.
Yeah.
So clearly we're not even doing regime change anymore.
Trying to get the deal that Obama already had. It's insane. I mean, we just played Sky News. Speaking of our media, Sky News confirms the U.S. is backing down, and Trump was forced to cancel strikes because Iran's guaranteed retaliation against Israel and the Gulf states would be enormous. The cost of war is too high. Iran called his bluff. he's just a ridiculous buffoon, and the whole world knows it. You knew he was going to taco out and lie about it. At this point, I don't know how he's just going to declare victory and leave this mess, right?
It'll be the same thing he did in Venezuela. Like, they went in, they removed Maduro, they said they were going to free the people of Venezuela, and then what did they do? They put Maduro's number 2 in charge. Yeah. They hailed the new freedoms that the people of Venezuela had, and then Maduro's number 2 started cracking down on journalists, sending out roaming gangs to kill people in the streets. So the people of Venezuela are not any more free, but the good news is that Paul Singer, one of Donald Trump's biggest donors, has access to the oil fields that he wants. So again, the question for everything that Donald Trump does is, who benefits and who pays the price? They benefit. They succeed no matter what happens. They make more money. They get tax cuts. They get contracts in front of the Pentagon, and you pay the price.
Yeah.
Because the average American's paying $4 or $5 a gallon for gasoline if they're lucky, and people were already stretched thin before that. And Donald Trump doesn't seem to care about that.
And you know when something's going badly, Brian tweeted, "We've now entered the throw Hegseth under the bus era of Trump's war strategy."
Yeah.
You see him yesterday. It's Pete's idea. I think Pete's the one that said, let's do it.
That was all Pete.
Yeah, blame the Fox drunk. Yeah. I don't know. He's drunk. I don't know. I listened.
Well, that's where the word useful comes for useful.
Yes. At least he has some use. So let's talk about ICE. You said Trump has deployed ICE to O'Hare in Chicago. I was there this weekend because I'm on a family trip for spring break. It was business as usual at ORD. There's no reason to deploy ICE agents anywhere, but certainly not in Chicago. Just pay the TSA agents and end this madness. So stupid. And I was saying, I feel so bad for these poor, here they are not getting paid, and you got these ICE goons just standing there, just intimidating people for no reason and getting paid.
Well, not even just standing there. Like, one, they're in the way, and then two, at their worst, they're being dangerous and putting people in harm's way. I mean, they dragged a woman out of a line at TSA because she couldn't validate her citizenship to the extent that these ICE agents wanted, and then they later had to release her because she was an American citizen. That happened in San Francisco. So it's very, very dangerous. You already have unqualified, untrained, poorly recruited ICE agents who are on American streets getting people killed and kidnapping people while wearing masks, and they want to send them into airports. Just pay the TSA agent. And Trump is the reason that we have this shutdown right now, because Senate Republicans are desperate for a deal right now. Delta just took away their private access that they get to go through security lines. So now they have to go and stand through TSA lines like the rest of us. So they're going to fold really quickly. But Trump is saying, don't you make any deal with the Democrats. Yeah. And that's the problem.
Well, and by the way, ZK said, does Donald actually think undocumented people fly into U.S. airports where they need, quote, checks, notes, documents? Mm-hmm. The whole thing is so stupid, right?
It's utterly stupid. They don't have a plan. To me, it's the sort of Donald Trump thinks in stunts. Everything that he does is a stunt. And the question is sometimes, is it a good stunt or a bad stunt? For instance, a lot of people online didn't like his McDonald's stunt during the campaign in 2024. I really liked it and thought it was good political theater. But this is the type of stupid stuff that he does. Airports are already chaotic enough. It's spring break. I went through ORD with my 6-year-old son and my wife. It is a stressful, chaotic situation and the best of circumstances. Sure. Yeah. Now I've got ICE goons running around, grabbing people, asking them for their ID and to show them their papers. That's not going to make anybody safer. It's just a stupid waste of time. And by the way, in theory, in the Trump ecosystem, shouldn't these people be out trying to find illegal immigrants who are here that are committing violent acts? That's what they should be doing, but instead they're here harassing people who are getting on airplanes.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
I always love, because you end on a happy, clappy note. You said, remember, everything Trump does and says comes from a place of profound weakness. They are in political trouble. The polling for the midterms looks horrendous. That's why they're freaking out and attacking James Tallarico every minute of every day. These guys are weak. You wrote a whole piece. Trump is cracking under pressure and everyone sees it. I mean, it is what panic looks like, isn't it? I mean, we're going to talk to Jill Wine-Banks about fellow Chicago, gal, about the Supreme Court and mail-in voting. I mean, they're going to try everything they can, but the kitchen sink, right, to try to stop voting in the midterms.
Yeah. They're going to cheat every which way that they can. We saw that with gerrymandering. We see it with the SAVE Act now. The SAVE Act is an abomination of a bill designed to make it harder for women, people of color, and seniors to vote, particularly in blue and purple states. They are in tremendous political trouble right now. I'm seeing polling where the Democratic advantage in this midterms is anywhere from 8 to 13%. That could be worse given the state of the economy. They're clearly, and you brought up Tallarico, every day when I log into X, The entire MAGA ecosystem is freaking out about James Tallarico. And if he were not a threat, they would ignore him.
Exactly.
They would not talk about him if Texas were not in play. But they are scared to death that we are about to win Texas. And if James Tallarico is ahead in Texas, in their internals, then we're ahead in Alaska, then we're ahead in Iowa, then we're ahead in North Carolina and Maine and a whole bunch of other places. And that means Democrats will be favored to take the Senate.
Wow,
right.
wow. Yeah, you just said let's not confuse any of Trump's bizarre actions this weekend with strength. He's profoundly weak, a bleeding support across America. New polling showing his disapproval in the 60s. Vast majority of Americans understand he's in control of Washington. He controls Republicans in Congress. If they wanted to pay the TSA, they could do it now. Thank God I'm seeing more of that in these airport interviews because, again, the media is no help. They're like, who do you blame? And they don't give any context that it's Republicans that have voted against paying TSA. You know, what are we up to, 11 billion times now? And as you said, it's Trump that stopped it. I saw a woman they interviewed actually say, Trump, I blame Trump. So I think that's how it's starting to play, I hope, politically, right?
But even if it weren't their fault, and it absolutely is, they love to do that. They did this to Joe Biden. Everything that happens when you are in control of the White House, you are responsible for to the average American who doesn't pay attention as much as you and I do. Not because they're not smart enough to, it's because they're busy, right? Like the average American's working 2 jobs to take care of a couple of kids, put food on the table, pay their mortgage. So people are busy. But when they see Washington break down, nobody looks good, but they expect the president of the United States to lead. And this guy is actively getting in the way. And by the way, what was he doing yesterday? We're at war in the Middle East. We have American military personnel, and he's touring Graceland like a tourist.
Yeah.
And talking about how he looks like Elvis. Like, he is such a joke of a human being.
I have a friend in
We need to get some serious people in
I have a
government.
friend in Hawaii right now. I'm just not used to having a president that just doesn't. They're drowning. It's just not a word. Not a word. Not, I mean, you know, Nebraska. Is it Nebraska on fire?
yeah.
I mean, it's just. And he's busy saying, "I'm glad Bob Mueller's dead." I'm like, I think, like you say it. You sum it up in your piece. We're beating him. Most Americans are sick of this. They're tired of the chaos, the constant noise, feeling that every day is another manufactured crisis designed to benefit the same small group of wealthy insiders. That's why Democrats are going to win in the midterms. I honestly believe that. I just think, you know, every new roadblock they throw up, man, we just got to knock it aside, figure out, you know, whether it's Mark Elias or, you know, on the state and local levels, we figure out how to fight this, right?
I mean, look, the system is bending in America, but it is not breaking. And I believe that our democracy is strong enough to uphold all of these attacks because we have a Democratic Party that's strong enough to fight back.
Yay! It's my favorite. It's that pink Kelly Clarkson song. We're not broken, just bent. We can learn to love again.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I never thought I'd meet a Mike Nellis, and then I did. I'm not broken. I'm just bent. And then one day I discovered him, and now we're in love.
Okay.
You discovered me.
I did.
Yeah,
I
right.
did. You shot right out of my.
I was just a rube off the bus from Nebraska.
You
before
shot
Stephanie Miller
fully
discovered
formed
me.
out of my vajayjay just months ago.
Oh, this is taking on a new level of weird.
It is really, really
I know.
weird.
I know.
Go back to your vacation, Mike.
I will.
All right, you're my kind of
Thanks,
weird
everybody.
though. Bye. See ya.
Thanks, Mike.
See you next week.
Well, if you are old enough to notice clothing styles from your past coming back into fashion, hello, brooches and jackets with shoulder pads. Well, it's time to grab a bottle of my favorite skincare product, Vibrian Super C Serum. Super C Serum hydrates, smooths, tones, improves the overall look of your skin. Made with the highest quality vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, vitamin B5, and E. Vibrian Super C Serum has been better to me than all of the expensive products I've tried. It's a terrific multitasker. My little bottle of Super C Serum able to replace neck cream, eye cream, night cream, dark spot cream. See for yourself. If you don't find Super C Serum better than your current regimen, they will give you a refund within the first year. Go to Vibriance.com/Stephanie. Save up to 37% off and get free shipping. That's VIBRIANCE, Vibriance.com/Stephanie.
On the line with us is our buddy John Pavlovitz, the writer, pastor, activist. His latest book is titled Stuff That Needs to Be Said. He's host of the new Substack video series Loathe Thy Neighbor that begins airing March 23rd. His main Substack is The Beautiful Mess. You can go over to Substack.com and plug that in, or you can just go directly to the URL John Pavlovitz, PAVLOVITZ.substack.com. And John Pavlovitz is his Blue Sky handle as well. John, welcome back to the program. Your latest piece really struck me. It was titled Funeral for My Christianity. With a brief intro as to your background vis-a-vis Christianity, could you share that with us, please?
Sure, Tom. Good to see you. I'm a 3-decade veteran in local church ministry, pastor from quite early on, and over that time I began to see the ills of the church and the system that I was complicit in, and ever since then I've been doing my best to speak into the marriage of church and state that we're seeing here in America.
Yeah. So the funeral for my Christianity.
Yeah, I think, Tom, I've been trying to find words for what the last decade has felt like for so many people of faith, in that we're really grieving something we've lost. We've lost our place in organized Christianity. We've lost a sense of commonality with people who claim they follow Jesus. And we're looking at the dehumanization of immigrants and the mistreatment of the LGBTQ population and of women, people of color. And we're trying to reclaim a faith while distancing ourselves from the people who are practicing the worst of religion.
Am I remembering correctly that you were a United Methodist pastor?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's the church I was raised in. I'm curious your thoughts on how it is that, you know, a fundamental Christianity, and that's kind of mainstream Christianity, the Methodist Church, that how it's become so politicized. I mean, I realized, you know, back in 1980, you know, Ronald Reagan cut a deal with Jerry Falwell and Ralph Reed and those guys, and right. You know, do you really think that that's the beginning point of it all, or you know, and how? Well, get your thoughts on that first.
Yeah, you know, I think that's when they began to be more organized and more politically active. But I think the misogyny and the white supremacy has always been baked into the American Christian system. And I think they've only over time learned how to widen and deepen the impact of that. And they've played the long game. So what we're seeing right now, this was always the plan, but they've just never had the microphone and the power that they've had since Trump ascended. And so this is really the culmination of decades of work in local churches and local political organizations that we're seeing now. And we're probably noticing it, many of us, a little too late. And now it's about reacting to it.
Yeah, this work that you're talking about is essentially corrupting the Christian church, or the Christian religion, for that matter. And I think you're absolutely right. Are you familiar with Peter Thiel's running around talking about the Antichrist? Have you dug into that at all? He was in Rome this last week, you know, for the Ides of March, which takes us back to the Isle of Patmos in, 92 AD, I think it was?
Right. Yeah, this talk of the end times and bringing on the rapture, Armageddon, this is all ways that the fear that the evangelical church has leveraged really comes to its fullest form. And that is a fear that everything here is dangerous, that they're enemies everywhere. And the only way to bring upon rescue is to destroy the earth and let Jesus come back. And it's a white American Republican straight male Jesus who is going to save them from all the ills of diversity and equality. And so it's a manipulation in its highest form and a perversion of the Christian faith.
Yeah, I think if Jesus were here today, he would not recognize what's being done in his name. It's truly mind-boggling. How for people who are listening right now, whether they call themselves Christians or, for that matter, atheists or agnostics, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, how can we speak to our neighbors who claim Christianity and yet proclaim in the name of Christianity these deeply hateful policies and endorsements of politicians who really are exactly what Jesus tried to drive out of the temple,
right.
in those early days?
I think we have to start by understanding that there's a road that led them to where they are. Their theology was not formed in a vacuum or in a few days or even a decade. They have been raised in a story, and that story tells them that they are despised by God and they need rescue and protection, and that everyone around them is morally inferior. And so the best thing we can do is kind of receive them where they are, figure out what is the story that they're telling themselves. And then for me, I begin to use the teachings of Jesus to push into that story. So if it doesn't lead to poor people being cared for and the hungry being fed and the outsider being brought in, then it's not of Jesus. And so we need to continually lift up the Sermon on the Mount as the benchmark, and loving thy neighbor. And what does that really look like? And do your policies and your political affiliations lead to more people being seen and heard and loved and respected? And if not, why do you have that?
Yeah, it seems pretty straightforward, although I suspect some of those questions might even be shocking to some of these folks. In your piece, The Funeral for My Christianity, your most recent piece on Substack, we're talking to John Pavlovitz. You write, I can't help but grieve at the passing of the faith I used to know. My sense is that there is, in a relatively small way that's getting no publicity, but that there is a revival of Jesus-based, of Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 25-based Christianity, not necessarily happening in the churches, but happening across the populace, and in the political context, certainly happening within the Democratic Party. Are you seeing that same thing, and what does that tell you, if or if not?
I am seeing it, Tom, and doing this work for now 12 or so years online, and I've reached, millions and millions of people. And I tell people all the time, that's not just about my writing or how I'm speaking. It's a reminder that there are people out there asking the questions I'm asking, feeling the prompts I'm feeling, the same things that you're talking about. People are feeling that pull toward empathy, whether that's individually expressed or collectively. And the beautiful thing about technology is we're able to build those, I call them online communities or congregations, depending on how you view it, where there are no barriers and we can simply meet around our shared values. And then it's about making that tangible. How do we show up in the real world and activate ourselves beyond our screens?
It's great stuff. Your writing is inspiring to me, John, and I, please keep it up. John Pavlovitz, his new book, The Stuff That Needs to Be Said, his blue sky handle, John Pavlovitz, and The Beautiful Mess is his Substack newsletter, which is free. You should subscribe to it, johnpavlovitz.substack.com as well. John, thanks so much for dropping by.
Thanks, Tom. Great to see you.
Great to see you, too.
It's time for the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is the voice of the working class, Rick Smith.
So I got to tell you, I love when Democrats get control of something and then they actually do something. I look at Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer and the Democrats there, when they took power, undid right to work, restored prevailing wage, did a lot of stuff to help working people. So now that I'm looking at Virginia, and I got to be honest, I'll be quite frank, was not huge on the Abigail Spanberger bandwagon, a little moderate for my taste, but for Virginia, good, but they've done something I'm pretty impressed with. And that's why I have asked Molly Weston Williamson to come share some thoughts with us. Molly is a senior fellow there at the Center for American Progress. You can check out their website, americanprogress.org. Molly, thanks for taking time for us.
Happy to be here.
So I'm going to give you the punchline and say what the good thing that the Democrats in Virginia did, because I'm kind of stunned by it.
So we're excited. Virginia is about to have real paid leave for working people across the state. The legislature on Friday voted to send a strong paid leave bill to the governor. The governor's been a strong champion and is expected to sign it soon. So at this point, we're one signature away from Virginia becoming the 14th state plus DC to guarantee paid family and medical leave to workers in the state.
And that's kind of a big deal to steal a Bidenism. It's a big freaking deal, especially for a state like Virginia. Maybe this becomes something that catches fire in other states want to do now. This isn't new for Virginia. I understand this was proposed and shot down a couple of times, right?
That's right. So the Virginia legislature, this is the third time they have voted to send a strong paid leave bill to the governor, but it was vetoed twice by the previous governor. So in the last couple of sessions, what we've seen is instead of Virginia workers getting this important new protection, instead of starting Virginia down this road, the governor said no. The governor took away that opportunity, and that's not what's going to happen here. We have a governor who has been talking about this issue, is excited to sign it, and excited to really get a chance to bring home this protection that Virginians have needed for a long time. They needed it last year. They needed it the year before. They've needed it for years and years, but now they're looking forward to a future where this protection is going to come home, and they're going to have the time to bond with a new child, to not have to get chemo on your lunch break, to be there for your mom when she falls and breaks her hip or has a stroke, to take that time they need because of good public policy that delivers protections working people need.
No, look, as someone, throughout my working life, I've used the Family Medical Leave Act a number of times. When our children were born, when my wife just had, was just involved in a near fatal motorcycle accident, I have used this. But understand, there's no pay that comes with it, so it's really difficult for workers, for families to be able to afford it. Now that you put some pay component to it, I think it might expand it a little bit and give people an opportunity to actually use it now. Whereas before it was just a nice thing to have, but we never really used it because we couldn't afford it.
Totally. And that's, I think, true for most families in this country, is that in order to be able to really take the time you need your paycheck to keep going. You need to not be put in a position where you have to choose between getting the surgery that could save your life, or being there for your brand new baby, or standing at your dad's bed in his last moments, and the paycheck that keeps your rent paid and keeps food in your fridge. And so what investing in paid family and medical leave like Virginia is about to do is it says, we're going to end all those crazy choices. We're going to say, you can take care of yourself, you can take care of your family, and you can keep paying your bills,
Right.
because we know that most people can't afford to take extended unpaid leave.
Well, let's get the devil in the details. I mean, there are paid programs across the country, but I would argue some of them don't do enough to really make it matter. I mean, how like unemployment is not a living wage. I mean, you can't make it on unemployment benefits, because if I remember right, it's like 35% of the wages you've got. So let's get into the details. What does this bill actually do? Let's say I lived in Virginia and something bad happened. I got sick, a spouse got sick, there was an accident, something. Walk me through what this looks like.
Sure. So once benefits start in Virginia, workers will be able to take up to 12 weeks of paid job protected leave to bond with a new child, recover from serious illness, care for a seriously ill loved one, or address the impact of military deployment or domestic violence. While you're on leave, you'll get 80% of your regular income, up to a cap that'll adjust every year, and all be set up as an insurance system. So we'll pay for it all by employers, and employees will each pay in a little tiny fraction of each paycheck into an insurance fund, and then that fund pays you out your benefits when you need them, just like Social Security, just like unemployment insurance.
But their unemployment and this are not the same, because I had always argued you should have just one giant pool. You pay into it, and that gives you your social insurance, be it unemployment, be it something that happens at home, because I think it's the same thing. You're just calling it different stuff, but these are different funds. Am I getting that?
That's exactly right. It's a brand new fund designed just to cover these paid leave benefits.
Now, what do you say to the naysayers who go, people are going to they're going to abuse it, Molly. You got those scofflaws out there. You've got those lazy people. They're gonna abuse it, Molly.
So one of the things that comes with being the 15th program instead of the first is we have a whole lot of real world data on state paid leave programs from states across the country that have been running programs like this for decades. And what we know is that workers committing fraud, so taking benefits they're not entitled to, is incredibly, incredibly vanishingly rare. We have state after state where we have data showing this, and the system is set up in a way where it's really hard to do. So you have to provide medical documentation showing the need. You have to have shown your wage history. So really, the systems are set up in a way that makes sure that the people who deserve them are getting the benefits they need. But what the evidence shows us is that kind of sort of fraud and abuse really just isn't real. And what is real is people who are suffering because they don't have the paid leave they need.
No, and look, that's the argument I've used for a lot of things because one guy is screwing things up. Nobody can have it. And you go, maybe this is why we can't have nice things because we don't think in terms of how is it going to benefit me? And I look at my own life. There have been times where I've been grateful to have good policies. I've been more grateful to have my union who fights for better wages, hours, conditions, and job protections because this is only 12 weeks. There are things that take a lot longer than 12 weeks. So in looking at this, is this incremental as well? Like the Family Medical Leave Act lets you take a day to take someone to a doctor or something. Is this incremental? Is this 12 weeks and that's it? Walk me through what we know.
Sure. So the answer is it's up to 12 weeks, and how you use it depends on what you need. So if you have a medical condition where instead of taking 12 weeks all at once, what you need, for example, is I need a day off every other week because I need to go get dialysis or go get chemo and then recover, you can do that. If you are welcoming a new child, you might want to take all of your time all at once, or you might say, we have a family and we have two parents and we need to break up the time to decide who can be home when. So it's designed to say the leave meets you at the time you actually need it, which might be a whole bunch of time at once. It might be in those smaller chunks.
Now, as I remember some of the other leave programs across the country, they're isolated to, the individual, a spouse, a child, not extended family, like not, grandparents, if I remember right. This one is a little different in that it actually, as I understand, it actually covers people who, maybe a spouse or someone's deployed. Also, for kind of like a safe leave, that seems in there as well. Can you explain some of that?
Sure. So the leave is designed to cover 5 different scenarios. So you're bonding with a new child, and that's for a parent of any gender, including foster and adopted kids. You can use it for your own serious health need. You can use it to care for a loved one who has some kind of serious health condition. And that includes not just sort of FMLA, parent, child, spouse, but it includes siblings, it includes extended family, it includes people that you consider family who you might not have a legal or biological relationship to. So if you have, your best friend who's like a sister to you, you can take the time to care for that person. It also includes needs in relation to military deployment. So recognizing that for the folks who stay at home, your spouse or your loved one deploying has a big impact on your life and you might need time to address that, or to deal with needs in relation to sexual or domestic violence. So if you need time off to go to court, to relocate to safety, the law is going to protect you in those scenarios as well.
No, and for me, this is a really good start. And as I understand it, will cover, because I was looking at some of the numbers, like 80%, because earlier I talked about unemployment, which unemployment only replaces about 35%, at least in the state where I live. This actually, from what I've read, goes up to 80%. And then as you get higher, it falls off. If you're like over $150,000 a year, it'll back off, figuring that maybe you might have saved a little bit of that and you might be able to do it on your own. Is that kind of how I understand it?
That's exactly right. So it's 80% of your income up to a cap, but the cap is pretty high. So the way that it works out is that if you're, a person who is living paycheck to paycheck, if you're making minimum wage, if you're making a bit more than minimum wage, if you're getting into sort of more middle class incomes, you're going to be getting 80% of your income. And for folks who are at sort of that higher end of the income spectrum, they're still getting a really solid benefit, but it ends up being a little bit lower of a percentage, making sure that we keep the program affordable and sustainable.
Yeah, and this goes on top of the Federal Family Leave Act, which then pays for healthcare benefits if you have them. This is the other part. A lot of people don't have health insurance or access to it. The federal pays 12 weeks, makes the employer pay 12 weeks for healthcare. So this is a way for families to be able to take that 12 weeks and not go broke.
That's exactly right. And I think one of the things that's really cool about this bill is that it'll cover almost everybody who is an employee in the state of Virginia. The National Partnership for Women and Families estimates this bill will cover more than 3 million private sector workers, and that's including folks who are part-time, folks who are low-wage workers, folks who otherwise wouldn't have access. And for all of those folks, you're going to get access to this cash benefit. Your job is going to be protected, so you're not going to get fired because you took this time. You're not going to get demoted because you took this time. And like you said, you're going to get to keep your health insurance coverage while you're on leave if you get it through your employer. So that's a whole range of different important protections you need to not just say we're letting you take leave, but we're going to give you the money you need. We're going to protect your job. We're going to protect your health insurance to make sure that it's really possible for all working people who are covered to really be able to take that time.
Well, we welcome Elijah McGrain. Did I say that right? Of Native Path, my favorite supplement. Good morning, Elijah.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
I have to tell you, I have my Native Path in my coffee. I put 1 scoop in every morning. Talk first of all, just in general, why collagen is so important. I know it's the most abundant protein in our body, but I lie about my age, just so you know. But your supply drops as you age. So tell us why it's so popular now and so important.
Collagen is in our minds almost a foundational part of the diet, right? And it's something 100 years ago that was much more common to get in the diet because our diet was much more broad. We had we had a lot of stocks and soups, and it was easier to get collagen. Whereas now, with kind of that ultra processed landscape, it's much more difficult. And collagen is really, like you said, it's one of the most abundant proteins in your body, and it's really kind of a building block for joints, skin, even the lining of your stomach, of your gut.
Yeah.
And after about between 30 and 40, the collagen content in your body actually starts to drop. So, and the only way your body doesn't synthesize enough of it to kind of keep up with that loss. So one of the best ways to get that is through supplementation.
I accidentally ran out once, and I'm telling you, I hike every day. I bike, maybe 40, 50 miles a week. I could feel the difference. So I used to take separate pills for everything, hair, skin, nails, all those really expensive supplements. But
of course, yeah.
This one has everything in there, right? We have, people that have told us they can see their hair and their skin, their, their nails growing faster. Let me also say this is a great deal for the best quality stuff. Right now, you can get a special bundle deal at a fraction of the retail price and free shipping. The offer only available at getnativepath.com/Stephanie for the best collagen. Elijah, thank you so much. Such great information.
Landon informed me he will not be filling in for Jonathan Krause today. There will be a Brewers game on during Your News Now. There is no Your News Now. So I told Landon I was going to let everyone know that since he will not be in this afternoon, that he is intending to get blackout drunk after he gets out of here. I'm joking, of course. That's not his DNA, but I did tell him that I was going to make that joke once he informed me that he actually gets a little time. I'm very much like I'm an all or nothing kind of guy when it comes to that. I'll let 5 or 6 errands pile up on me and then be like, okay, I have to do stuff for 5 hours now. I would do that way before I would just do 1 errand a day for an hour at a time. Like, that is my kryptonite. Like, I'd rather I'm either working or I'm not. And it's the start and stop that would absolutely kill me. It was my least favorite thing about doing rideshare driving was if you would catch it at a time when there just wasn't as much traffic as there normally was, and you have to like sit around in your car for 10 to 15 minutes just waiting for it to ding, wondering like, maybe if I turn it off and drive, like, don't miss that life whatsoever. And I know plenty of you guys listening to me still live that life every single day, and I know what it's like. I know the game, that is for sure. Before we even started off here, I saw that Lenny had sent a text through the WHBY talking text line asking if the airport workers get back pay. They do. So eventually they will get paid. It's just a matter of how much of your life do you fall behind on in the name of waiting to be paid for doing your job. And it kind of reminds me of, and we're going to talk about airports to start the show off. To start the show off here, but it kind of reminds me of COVID, because I am a firm believer that had leadership also shut off everybody's debts, there would have been a much less frustrated attitude towards lockdowns and COVID. I think a lot of the frustration stemmed from, and for the record, some of us had the ability to avoid paying some bills, like depending on the person. That's just it. It was kind of like a picking winners and losers moment that people found so frustrating. But I'm a firm believer that had we done COVID lockdowns and we were all told you're not allowed to go to work anymore, right? You can't make money anymore until we decide that we are reopening society. I think there would have been a lot less pushback had there just been also an announcement saying, oh, and all debts you owe are officially frozen. You don't owe, like student debt was frozen, but mortgages, health bills, credit cards, fill in the blank, car payments, whatever the situation is, had the government come out and said, everything is shut down. You cannot make money, but you also do not have to spend money on anything outside of food. Please be careful about how you're doing that. We also have food pantries set up everywhere. That, I think, would have made a lot of people feel better about what was going on. It's the same thing here with TSA agents. I'm saying anytime the government can't get their crap together and figure out the right thing to do, the way to keep the government funded and do the right stuff, whether it be because as a result of the fault of the president of the United States, individually, or Congress as a whole, I think everybody who works a government position should be exempt from all debt until they're allowed to make money again. I feel like that's a very basic solution to a lot of these problems. We're telling you, you still have to show up and make sure that the air traffic is going along at the pace that we are used to it going at. Cool. Then you also aren't going to have to pay your rent/mortgage. And then let's see how mad the bank industry and the landlords get at their elected politicians, because that's how you get these people to do the things you want to do. They couldn't care less that you guys are stuck. KG messaged me before the show even started. Wait times at Intergalactic Airport in Houston, 4+ hours. Anna has been sending me videos of wait lines going outside of some airports. People in New Orleans saying that even if you want to catch a flight today or tomorrow, you're probably not leaving based on the backlog of people looking to get out of the state right now. And fewer people are showing up every single time. And the reason they're not showing up is because, well, A, everybody has a breaking point of how long they're going to work without receiving an appropriate funding. But B, there comes a time when you actually need money because you owe debts. And if you haven't met America before, there is a higher than likely chance that they were living paycheck to paycheck or thereabout, so that after a month of not receiving a paycheck, you're going to be pretty far behind on a lot of what you owe. But we never do it that way. It never negatively impacts big business. It negatively impacts individuals. And as long as it's not negatively impacting you, you're probably okay with it. Ridiculous time to be alive. And that's my COVID versus airports comparison. Now, the people in TSA are making between $45,000 and $65,000 a year. The talentless masked virgins are making closer to $100,000. But unfortunately, the first adjective that describes them is talentless. So they do not have the ability to do what TSA agents are doing. Have you guys been watching the videos? They're hilarious. It looks like any dude I've ever known who's out of his element. You just kind of stand there, you look busy, you're hopeful that none of the higher-ups see that you're just kind of standing there with your hands in your pockets and you're not doing anything. There already have been some appalling videos of ICE doing things to people that at least look Mexican, whether or not they are or aren't, I'm sure does not matter to them at all. And they're already making the news, but not in the Minneapolis ways, just in the nobody respects them kind of ways, and I think that kind of bothers them a little bit. But it's only going to get worse. It's only going to go on longer the more we are stuck here. And I did mention to Landon, if you missed the local half hour, we played a Wisconsin Radio Network report from Bob Haig highlighting that Appleton Airport could be one of those branch airports that does end up closing during this long haul due to a funding shortage here. Whether or not that happens, only time will tell. I did express that I am optimistic about getting out of this by Friday, and I do have rationale behind that, and I would like to explain it to you. Before we get into it, Jerry says, I heard an airline pilot say yesterday that all of his flights were more than half empty, even though most of the seats were sold. Wow. That's a crazy stat, actually. just because they couldn't get through their checks or whatever the situation is. They were unable to get to where they needed to go. I'll tell you, before I get into the actual news part of this, just from a personal perspective, I am not a nervous flyer. I could care less. I zonk out to the second I'm on the plane. I just, turbulence doesn't bother me. I actually low-key kind of enjoy it. There's nothing about flying that bothers me. Airports give me anxiety through the roof. Kept making sure I have all of my stuff, checking my pockets 45,000 times over for tickets. Whatever the situation is, making sure that I'm not mixing up the departure time with the time that the doors close at the gate. Whatever the situation is, that is where my anxiety comes from. And I have been watching videos of it. Just looks like ants. It looks like confused ants trying to find their way back to the anthill. There's lines, but it's more like just a mass of people in an airport trying to get through. And it gives me such anxiety because, again, I'm a very on point airport person. Like, I'm there way earlier than I have any business being there. It's kind of the way that I'm just wired. And being a media person, we're very time specific. So that absolutely leans into it as well. But I've seen and heard and read the horror stories about what's going on there, and I can only imagine. But I do believe that the tides are changing here, and allow me to explain why. And we're going to use the state of Wisconsin to kind of prove that point, but Wisconsin is not the anomaly here. You realistically could pick just about any state, and you'd get a similar polling data here. In Wisconsin alone, 38% of people approve of Donald Trump's job, 53% disapprove. Nationwide, the enthusiastic people that identify as extremely enthusiastic about voting in 2026 is 51% Dem, 35% GOP. Whether you're talking about the war in Iran, the affordability crisis, the housing market, childcare costs, nothing is cheaper, which is what this president ran on. Quite a bit of things are more expensive than they were, and gas is well on its way to getting there as well. And we're embroiled in a war. And on top of all of this, we're embroiled in a shutdown. Now, this is, I don't know, like, if you're listening to this show, you probably already know this, but I do question how much of the average American is aware of this yet. But Democrats have proposed 7 standalone bills to exclusively fund TSA. They've proposed 10 bills that fund TSA as well as FEMA and all the other agencies that go into DHS other than ICE. And as I highlighted yesterday, ICE can be funded with a reconciliation bill, meaning you don't need 60 votes like you do to pass the budget. You would just need 50 votes to get it across the finish line. So Democrats, knowing damn well that the Republicans would vote to fund ICE for another year or however long, are proposing a compromise bill that gets everything else across the finish line without them having to vote to fund ICE. Then the Republicans, via reconciliation, could fund ICE. Democrats could stomp their feet and say, these darn Republicans. Republicans can say, why do liberals hate America so much? The system works, right? Republicans are on board with it. Democrats are on board with it. You know who isn't? Uncle Donnie. The president, Donald Trump, is saying no. We're not pushing this across the finish line. Do not give the Democrats a win. Every single day that this doesn't pass, there was a time when I was here for the bipartisan, these children need to work this garbage out and figure out what compromise is actually defined as, because I'm getting sick and tired of this. There was a time, and it wasn't that long ago, where I'd buy into that. Regular caller Carlos, it was either last week or 2 weeks ago, called in, was pretty angry, said lock him in a room and say you're not coming out until you do what you need to do to get this across the finish line. And I was here for it. I was like, yeah, I admire the passion. I dig where you're at. They did that, right? Nothing. Fundamentally, it was normal blue MAGA liberal shtick. It was it was posture like you're a revolutionary, like you're against what's happening, ultimately concede to the Republican Party. The Republicans complain about how far left you've gone, even though all the right-wing stuff is going to happen, and we're back to the status quo by June. It's a liberal masterpiece. It was there for the taking. And Uncle Donnie says, no, we're not doing that. So officially, mark the date, outside the box, March 24th. This shutdown is officially laid at the feet of the Republican Party, and until they can convince their orange dad president to actually do the popular thing and open the government, pay these people, and get the airports operating the right way. He decided, in an effort to try and own the libs, that he was going to put ICE agents there and see what kind of reaction you can get. But he's also pigeonholed there because if you haven't noticed, a good chunk of the Republican Party is afraid to even use the words mass deportation at this point because they have messed up the immigration storyline so badly that they know that even amongst independents, they are so far underwater that they can't talk about it that way. So the ICE agents are there, unmasked, mind you. The unmasked ICE agents are there. Apparently, the cartel can't get you if you're helping TSA people. I don't know. Any MAGAs listening, help me figure out why it's okay for them to not be wearing masks now. It's funny how that works, isn't it? They put them there to try and own the libs, and it looks as though if this story does get out there, there's going to be a lot of angry people aimed specifically at the president for not allowing this to come to a conclusion. Like I said, I can't wait to talk to Jason Zimmerman on Friday because he's been flying, and I'm interested what his process has been like here. But I don't understand what the strategy is there other than knowing that most people within MAGA are not going to take the time to learn anything about why they're in that boat. I mean, realistically, we are dealing with this to a certain extent, not the airport element. Well, yes, the airport element of it, but just the own the libs mentality of the Republican Party while objectively doing nothing else. If you have a pulse and have listened to this show for more than 15 minutes, you know that Wisconsin has a multi-billion-dollar surplus that we have not been able to allocate in any kind of meaningful way. We've spoken with public school advocates. We've talked with conservation efforts. We talked about PFAS. We've talked about funding childcare. We've talked about funding elder care. We've talked about raising taxes through legalization of marijuana. Doesn't matter what it is, the Wisconsin GOP, knowing that the maps were gerrymandered, were not afraid to ignore the will of the people and not allocate those kind of funds in any way. Washington County, Wisconsin, is voting right now to decide whether or not they're going to name a section of County Highway K as Charlie J. Kirk Way. It would cost $50,000 to change the name of it to make a sign. And I am not advocating for vandalism, but I am saying that a 15-year-old Ben would have that sign in his bedroom 48 hours after it went up. But when it comes to owning the libs, Republicans are very excited to spend the money that they have, but God forbid you ask to use that money to feed a poor family or to give students free lunches. Otherwise, that's just welfare. But we're going to name a highway after Charlie Kirk. Don't call us stupid. We will tell your manager. There's a reason why all the polling shows exactly where the GOP is. And I was getting into it with some friends on Facebook that are convinced that Democrats are still unpopular enough that it doesn't matter how bad the Republicans are at governing a country. You're going to learn. You're going to learn very quickly exactly how popular it is. And for the record, I'm not bragging. I'm actually angrier than anything else because I already know the type of liberal that's going to rise from this when it's all said and done. But I am optimistic, assuming that the story that I am telling you guys about gets legs, which I do think it will. The president officially is what is standing in the way of opening the government. It is now no longer bipartisan, and it most certainly is not the fault of the Democrats. So live in reality or don't. Like, I'm kind of at that point with Republicans. But the fact of the matter is, anybody not in the cult who hears the way this story is laid out is like, wait a minute. So Republicans would get everything they want and the government would be opened. and it's the Republicans that are shooting this down, specifically one. It's kind of like Speaker Voss killing postpartum, being covered by Medicaid for recent mothers. Just because it's one guy's fault, what party is he associated with, and work backwards from there. This is officially a Republican shutdown until further notice. Bill says, with your thoughts on freezing people's loans, my thought on the student loan was instead of forgive, give 0% interest. So the 0% interest is actually what they did during COVID. A lot of friends of mine took advantage of that, honestly. I was already paid off by that point, but, I never win in those kind of games. But a lot of people did take advantage of that, and realistically, it should have stayed like that. Educating yourself should not put you into life-ending debt. That's not a bold declarative statement. That's the way that it should just work. But at least that's my opinion about how we get here. Juba on the YouTube chat line says, getting to the airport way earlier for me just means that I have more reading time. I also tend to book the earliest flights of the day. But even that strategy, Juba, has led me astray a couple times. I'm never flying during the Christmas months again because I learned my lesson. I booked a flight that was leaving in the 5 o'clock hour from Pittsburgh to come back to Appleton. And I was like, all right, it's a 5:15 flight, which I'm up at 4:30 organically. So getting up an hour earlier was nothing. I'm like, get there by 4. I'll have plenty of time. But it was Christmas time, and the line was you guys don't know the layout there, but it was obscene. It was obscene. And there was no shutdown. It was just Christmas. I couldn't imagine being in that boat. Brian says, no SAVE Act, no funding. Well, yeah, the SAVE Act can go straight to hell. That's not going anywhere unless they get rid of the filibuster, in which case I will mobilize the Democratic Party if they do eliminate the filibuster exclusively in the name of getting Medicare for all. David says, I believe the light in the tunnel will surface after the November elections. If the elections turn out as predicted by the polls, the Democrats should be able to freeze Trump. So back to normal, no progress. However, in the case, stopping Trump's agenda's progress. I mean, yeah, that's the name of the game, right? I mean, that's and what sucks, though, David, is that's exactly how the Republican Party build taking the majority in 2022. Now, you're going to have to hold my hand and help me understand why Joe Biden's FTC actually breaking up mergers and his effort to get rid of, to make it easier to cancel subscriptions, and his efforts to get rid of bank fees, and his efforts to negotiate drug pricing. I would need the GOP to describe to me why those were all so unacceptable, but Donald Trump just starting wars and not doing anything about affordability is the way of the future. I'll never understand it, but you're probably right. And KG, who, by the way, does listen in Houston, that's why she's providing these kind of Houston updates, says some of the local food banks are going to airports to give food to TSA workers. I mean, that's definitely a step in the right direction. It's like when everybody was clapping for the nurses. I always say in my personal life, like one day there was a day where no one clapped for the medical professionals anymore. We didn't realize that day ended, but that day came and went, and we had no idea. That's very real. But I do believe that this shutdown is just about over because there's no way to justify it. Will the Republican Party grow a spine? Probably not, but it's a matter of once the polling comes out again, showing how uniquely popular this is, Trump will change. Never forget it. He knows how badly he's doing, right? He knows, because there's a reason why ICE is moving more covertly now. There's a reason why Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance are nowhere to be found in regards to talking about Iran right now. These guys understand the polling, they understand the future, and not everyone is 1,000 years old like Donald Trump, and they intend to have political futures still. They know, and they pivot. They do it quietly. They act like it was their idea, that the liberals, blah, 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 blah. But you know why they're doing it. I know why they're doing it. So wait this out. I'm telling you, by Monday next week, this shutdown's over. Mark my words. What time is it? 9:31. Writing it down. 9:31, 3:24. This shutdown's over by Monday. Trump will somehow make it seem like he made some kind of last-minute maneuvers. Meanwhile, Democrats have proposed double-digit standalone bills to fund the government while still allowing the Republican Party to fund ICE via reconciliation, and then Ron Johnson will be screaming about making sure We make it harder for single mothers to get health care in the name of deficit reduction. Everything will be back to normal by Monday. 920-281-1150, 920-281-1150. If anybody else has some thoughts about what's going on, we are going to stay in the world of the White House, though. Brian out in Fremont called me before the show even started. I'm at least going to touch on this a little bit, but I'm not going to be breaking any news that none of you guys haven't seen before. But then I want to go into a tweet that the president sent out that it should be a cause for concern. Of course, not for MAGA because they're catching all the enemies, but for the rest of us, I feel that way. Before we go to break, let's sneak one more call in here before we call it. Hello, this is Outside the Box.
Hi, how you doing?
All right, about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So I just first time listening. I'm on my way, unfortunately, to a funeral. But I just heard you, mention a lot of things that I don't agree with. And one was that you mentioned the student loan situation, which was interest-free. I have 3 children that are all in the education field with student loans. And when President Trump put this in place, my children took advantage of this. And I heard you say that this was a good thing. Now, you didn't mention President Trump's name, which you're not going to do. But you said it should have never went back. And I agree with you 200%. But who put it back to that? That wasn't President Trump. That was Joe Biden that put that back into place where interest was being charged on student loans. And this is kind of ironic. After he said that he was going to abolish all student loans, another campaign ride, just like everything that Mandami's doing in New York. So I just want your thoughts on this and try to be honest, try to be fair,
let me ask you a
factual.
question. Why weren't student loans forgiven? Okay, yeah. See, why weren't student loans forgiven under Joe Biden?
I mean, why weren't they forgiven?
Because the Republican Supreme Court blocked it after Joe Biden did it. Why did the interest rates return to the student loans under Joe Biden? Because Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema, and you're new here, but this is a running bit. Clap along with me. Every single Republican in the House and Senate voted to make sure that the interest rates came back. Why didn't Joe Biden reduce the price of every drug when he was in office? Because Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema, and every single Republican in the House and Senate voted against reducing that. Why did gas prices shoot through the roof? Well, Joe Biden proposed a bill after the war in Ukraine started to prevent price gouging by oil and gas companies, but every single Republican in the House and Senate voted against that bill. So yes, Joe Biden was in office.
Can you hold on? Can you hold on right there? Okay, great. Educated right there with some of the things you said. But please do not say, and again, I'm being fair to you.
Sure.
Be fair to me.
Yeah.
Okay. What Joe Biden did first day in office, he was going to stick it up Trump's backside and every other American in this country. Okay. When President Trump got into office, okay, he opened up these pipelines. He allowed these workers to have jobs and get compensated very well in America. Okay, one of the first things that Joe Biden did, now please be honest with me because you're very well educated, he was going to prove to President Trump that he was a guy in charge, and at a 17 executive orders that he reversed with President Trump, one of them was to shut down the pipelines, and he did it. And what's so ironically, after gas went from $1.79 a gallon when President Trump was in office, I have pictures of it. I live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. $1.79 a gallon. Biden shut all those pipelines down, and then our gas 2 years ago was $4.79 a gallon. This had nothing to do with Congress or Senate. This was strictly Joe Biden reversing the executive order from President Trump. Now, Joe Biden wanted to reopen them. He wanted to reopen the pipelines. And those guys said, you know what? We're done. We moved on. You shut us down. We have other jobs. We have other things that we are obligated to. So please do not blame any of the gas prices on President Trump or the Republican House, the Senate, or Congress?
Oh, it absolutely is on them right now. But you are right. He did close those pipelines down, and then he also set the record for oil and gas drilling in 2023 as well as 2024. So there's a little bit of give and take there. The prices were trending downward in the second half of the Biden years. And again, Joe Biden inherited a pandemic. And I hate Joe Biden, by the way. You're making me defend him right now, and I'm not happy about this. But Joe Biden inherited a pandemic as well as the war between Russia and Ukraine that I do believe his State Department helped facilitate. So I'm not giving him a complete pass there. The difference between those moments and what Donald Trump is doing, and this is that this is 100% an error of Donald Trump's making. When a pandemic happens and the world shuts down, it's kind of difficult to hold one person to account for that. When you start a war of choice for no real reason that people can't describe the objectives, that falls, and you circumvent Congress. It's not even like you can say, well, 75 members in the Senate also said this was okay. This was exclusively a decision made by Donald Trump to go to war here. But I will say we have calls piling up. I do appreciate the call, and you were respectful. You and I don't necessarily agree, but I think there is a little bit of common ground there. So I appreciate the call.
Yes, sir. And you know what? I agree with you 200%. You might get another call back from me because I do appreciate your conversation.
Love that. Thank you. You take it easy. Good stuff there. We'll go with one other call really quick. What the hell? We're already on a 30-minute segment here. Who cares? Hello, you're on Outside the Box.
I'll tell you what, Ben, it's Jim. I'm out on the fringe here. You got me smiling, and the majority of your listeners on WHBY, we love your show. But I got to tell you one thing that Joe Biden said when he was leaving office. Brother, keep up the good work.
Thank you. That was hilarious because the phone broke up for the actual quote, so I have no idea what he said, but that's fine. I could feel the principle coming off of him. You know, we're late. We're going to break. We'll be back. Outside the Box, Ben Cominos, WHBY Political Voices Network.
Oh, hey, Political Voices viewers. It's me, Stephanie Miller. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. When you like, comment, and subscribe, it helps us and the sponsors who make this show possible. We really appreciate you supporting the people who support us. Here's a quick message from one of those sponsors now.
Hey guys, this is Tara Devlin for the Political Voices Network. This is America, right? We don't do kings here. No crowns, no thrones, no authoritarian cosplay. That's why we created the No Kings American flag pin. It's small, it's bold, and it says exactly what you're thinking without having to say a word. Put it on your jacket, your bag, your hat, even your cat. It's your quiet way of signaling to other patriots that you believe in democracy, and yeah, that still matters. You can grab yours now at store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. The No Kings American flag pin. Because in America, the power belongs to the people, not the palace. All right, what's up? My name is Tara Devlin. What are you doing? How you doing? All right, how's it sounding? How's it looking? I know there's a picture of Stephen Miller on the screen. That's disgusting. I'm sorry about that. Okay, we meet here every Tuesday and Thursday on the Political Voices Substack and YouTubes, the series of tubes called The U. And on Friday night, we have our Friday night get-together at the TARABUSTER YouTube channel, youtube.com/c4channel/TARABUSTER, and also on APS Radio and APS Radio News. APS Radio is a little app. You download it, classic rock and oldies all day long. That's Charlie, our good friend who supports the show, and the community cats that I take care of in my spare time, or I help take care of. And so does Charlie. He bought them winter shelters and continues to keep them well fed, and we care for them. So thank you, Charlie, for all you do. And if you just want to get an escape, check out APS Radio, download the little app, classic rock and oldies all day long. It's not it's just a, it's like an Apple iTunes app that connects you to the radio station. Classic rock and oldies. Okay. And, you know, he's a good friend, so he's just supplying a service for people because he likes that. And there's also APS radio that has other independent liberal voices. Yes. Thank you, Jim. Sub, like. Okay, let's get started. We have an hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's keeping it tight, keeping it real. It's really, I do appreciate you guys indulging me. You know, it is a TARABUSTER. So I'm trying to get better at just sticking to the, you know, we do go all over the place sometimes, but it's about connecting the dots, really. This is what we do here. We have that time to connect the dots that the corporate media doesn't bother to do, frankly. You know, what really gets me, well, I guess we can start here, because what I should have grabbed these clips when I was watching MS Now, you know, it's not MSNBC anymore. And I was watching Stephanie Ruhle, and I love some of the shows there. You know, Rachel and Lawrence O'Donnell is great, I think, in my opinion. And but Stephanie Ruhle, she's all right, but she falls into the category of enabler, in my opinion. What she does, but just by taking Trump's word for it, by saying, almost, you know, as if he's not lying to our faces. I mean, at this point, here, let me get this tweet up that he put up. This embarrassing, disgusting, you know, this is how we do diplomacy now. This is how world affairs run on Trader Trump's Tripe Social, on his lie. I don't know what you do on Tripe Social. I guess it's you vomit on Tripe Social. What do you do? Oh, that's Twitter. Twitter, it's, I don't know. Somebody will figure it out. But just this, the misspelling of which, yet again. Oh no, this is the wrong one. Fuck, I had the wrong tweet up. There, here it is. It's this one. I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had, over the last 2 days, very good and productive conversations. Here's Tara Jr. Sorry, guys. He was dead asleep until he heard the show start, so he came over to produce. So, let's see. A complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue through the week. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any military strikes and on power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the ongoing meetings and discussions. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I don't know when did he start this thank you for your attention to this matter shit. It was not in the first maladministration. It was in this maladministration. It's like he read a basic grammar guide from I guess high school, because that's what it reminds me of, where you were taught as a high schooler to write form letters or business letters, and you would say, in this circumstance, you would write to whom it may concern, or dear sir, or dear sir and madam, or whoever, right? And then at the end, you say, thank you for your attention to this matter. It's very juvenile, and it doesn't make him seem any more official or capable of doing a job, because he's not capable. It's a disgrace to this country, and we're living in the Baghdad Bob moment of the American decline. We can't trust this maladministration to tell you whether the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. No one believes them. And this has been a long-term project of the Republican Party, because you can't get away with destroying the grand experiment in liberal democracy without fomenting mistrust among the people. This is all, what we're witnessing is the result of end-stage capitalism. It's the result of Republican policies that turned the United States from the most to the least upwardly mobile, from the slightest income gap to the widest income gap of all Western democracies. These are the stats that I've been screaming about for years, since I became politically aware. And in the first maladministration, when the middle class fell below 50% of the population, that didn't even make a blip on the corporate media. So tell me what the priorities are for this corporate media, And right underneath this, what this traitorous bastard writes, on Tripe Social, Barack Obama is the reason President Trump had to buy Iran. Never forget that. Okay, keep telling yourself that, baboons and flying monkeys. This is the maladministration. This is the misinformation that is churning out there in the country. And it goes back to what I'm talking about, mistrust. They started the divisiveness of this country can be traced back to, and I hate to say it, well, it was the Telecommunications Act. Reagan started the deregulation of the media, and Bill Clinton put the nail in the coffin with the Telecommunications Act of '96, which gave us Rush Limbaugh and Fox News and the silos of information that people go to get their news. That's why we can have this. That's why half the country is still in a cult. Not half. It's less than half. Thank God. But it will never go below 35% because of the 35% authoritarian follower personality trait. Some people are just incapable of functioning in a free democratic society. It's just the bottom line. They would much rather have a daddy save them from the scary, complex world of others who don't know their place. And that's what it's about. Because our system requires a level of decency and maturity to show up, especially in a country of 320 million, a nation of immigrants. I know Republicans hate that. They hate the very essence of what it means to be an American. Most people, I think that's what makes America great. This whole notion of American exceptionalism used to be understood as partly that we are a nation of immigrants, that we attract the best in the world. They come here to contribute to the American dream. And what was the American dream? It wasn't that you too could be an entrepreneur or be rich and become a billionaire like Elon Manchild Musk and therefore kick down on your fellow Americans, lower on the ladder, and suck on the government teat without as much as even a thank you. It was that that everyone deserves a decent middle-class life. That if you're going to have a business in America, and you should pay living wages, that there's an expectation because of regulation, that we regulate businesses to treat people with decency, dignity, and respect, because it's good. It's freedom. It's good for society. That's what freedom is. What's freedom? In Maggotville, the freedom to be a dick to people. That's what they think freedom is. The freedom to misgender somebody, to be an asshole, without consequences. They could always be that, and they will always be that, because they can't help it. But it's the consequences. They want to be relieved of the burdens of being an adult. You know, when you're an adult, you're expected to act like an adult. No, well, I guess not anymore, because we have the biggest, most disgusting man baby to ever disgrace the Oval Office, and that's why it's such a disgusting statement on us. Okay, when he puts these tweets out, and what happened was, after he triped that, or sharded, or whatever they do on Tripe Social, that he was in talks, very good talks with Iran. We know that he was doing it to manipulate the markets, because that's all that matters in Maggotville. It's not the blood, it's not the chaos, it's not the death of democracy itself and spitting on the graves of everyone who ever gave their last full measure of devotion to this thing. Right? That's what really bothers me the most. When I think of all the actual patriots who shed blood and gave their lives for democracy so we could have the right to vote, so we could have the freedom that they were hoping to leave for their posterity, right? That this is what they're destroying. Republicans are spitting on their graves. Oh, but they sure love the stolen valor, though, right? They sure love to praise the military up the hilt, like Lindsey Graham. We'll get to that in a minute. But we know that right before, what was it? When, you know, Trump threatened to bomb Iranian power plants if they didn't open the Strait of Hormuz, which we all know, you know, Trump says, oh, nobody knew that was going to happen. I guess because he's a baboon. Everybody knew what was going to happen. But you see, it doesn't matter to somebody with his kind of mental illness. He's a malignant narcissist, you know, in my armchair Psych 101, well, 201 analysis. And he is running the war. First of all, we heard reports that he said that he wanted to do it. He just wanted to. You know, like a baby. I want ice cream for breakfast. I want to. Give it me. Gimme, me. Gimme, mommy, right? And he's surrounded by disgusting sycophants that really look at Mein Kampf as an owner's manual and a step-by-step instruction book, of course, not as a warning. And of course they're going to give the baby baboon whatever it wants, because they're just as disgusting as he is, including Marco Rubio, right? I mean, when you think about how Marco Rubio was confirmed with 100% of the vote, that makes me sick. Just like last night, Mark Wayne Mullen, another unfit disgrace to the office of everything that we hold dear in America, became the Secretary of Homeland Security. Mark Wayne Mullen, who has no business being a senator, much less have more responsibility in this volatile bunch of fascists, mass fascists who have no bounds, who are unleashed lawlessly, who have already killed American citizens in the street. And 2 Democrats crossed over to vote for him. I don't know. To me, that says, you know, as far as Chuck Schumer is concerned, to me it's like, do you people understand the assignment? Does Chuck Schumer understand what we're up against? I don't think so. If he can't wrangle his caucus, right? How come the maggots, they always vote in lockstep? I know that they're a cult and a lost cause and a greed-centered death cult. So I guess it's like comparing oranges to a box of nails or hammers. But if you're such a great leader, Chuck Schumer, wouldn't you think that would be one of the things you could do, is keep your caucus together? Threaten them. Say we're not going to give you any funding from the DNC or whatever it might be to Fetterman, this waste of a vote that people, came to his rescue in his time of need. But the only good thing about that is that his approval, Fetterman's approval rating is in the shitter. So, but it doesn't matter. We still got him. He's still in there. But if you can't keep your caucus together, so what good are you? Chuck Schumer? So to me, it's like, that's what's so frustrating about living in this timeline too. It's the Democrats, are they up to the task? I know some are. And they're our only hope at this point to vote Democratic because of the system we have. But Chuck Schumer, he needs to go away. He needs to, if he doesn't want to leave his job as a senator, you don't even have to be the leader of the you don't have to be the minority leader. Get somebody else in there who has a spine and knows how to keep this caucus together.